Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This week we are chatting all about mountain bike coaching strategy. So, if you're a new instructor and you are here really loving these trainings, this is from a course that I host every year for new mountain bike instructors. And it's all about building your branding, getting into your marketing, talking about your products and your coaching more. And if you're interested in that, make sure that you are on my email list because enrollment for that course is about to open up. Today, we are talking all about mountain bike coaching strategy. The best way to take this in is to sit down and let it play as if you were like listening to a podcast. I mean, if you have the time to sit down and write notes and do things like that, sure, go for it. But you can listen to this like it is a podcast, which is pretty cool. These are really things that I wish existed when I first started coaching, was getting into this industry. And I really hope that this brings a lot of value for new coaches. Creating content that like this really makes me excited and happy, and I hope that it helps you.
Right, let me enter full screen mode here. Awesome. Yeah, super stoked about the coaching strategy because I think it's something that is really important that you have moving forward. This will really help you find things like your ideal client and who you're talking to. Okay, so a lot of this I'll get into is with branding yourself and your business and social media and content like that. But before that, we really have to work on you as a person and as a coach. All right. So how can you build expert authority as a mountain bike coach? And why is it important to be seen as a pro? First of all, hopefully you have some credentials like a certification through BICP or PMBIA, which are the bigger names for coaching certifications. And if you're working towards that cert right now, no big deal. You're going to get there, but we need to have some kind of credentials. So, for an example, before I ever started coaching, I volunteered a lot. So before I ever had my cert, I was known as the girl who volunteered at these women's events or on guided trips or shadowing my friends in private lessons and stuff like that. So I was getting experience in that way. But also, another way that you can be seen, and again, like all of these are ways that you can be seen as an authority and expert in what you do, is social proof. So, what kind of identity are you putting out there as what you do as a coach? So, are you out there practicing on your bike? Do you do weekly rides? Are you on group rides? Like, are you getting that social proof, not only for social media, but also just letting your peers and colleagues and people in the community know that you ride your bike, right? And that you are seen as a leader in this space. And you're not afraid to go first on group rides, or you're not afraid to, get out there and meet new people, right? Another way is through your riding transformation. And we're going to talk about some of this stuff um, in the social media training, but your writing transformation is a key part of you and your coaching strategy because your experience is what makes you a powerful coach. And where you started, I'm sure, is way different than where you are now. So that kind of ties into your skills experience and your coaching experience. Like, where did you start? Again, like maybe you're just starting coaching, or maybe you've been volunteering like I did for a while and you're just trying to get some experience under your belt. I get it. I totally get it. But that's another way that you can build this toolbox of experience and getting experience. Like, again, volunteering on group rides or shadowing people as they coach and just getting out there to be seen as a leader, right? I'm going to say that several times. So it's a nice note to write down. And also, another way you can do this is through accomplishments. So I have several friends who are really amazing coaches in this environment, and they have race backgrounds, which is awesome. And that's one of the reasons why people go to them, because they have that experience. So again, it's something that sets you apart. And the accomplishments could also be something like, hey, I started this group up of lady shredders in my area. You have a reputation for building community, whatever that may be. There's a ton of examples of this. So think about those in your own accomplishments, right? And then another way that you can set this experience and get experience and authority as a coach, again, is this social proof. So share, share, share. On your website, through email, in conversations, on social media, and business cards. I know a lot of people and a lot of coaches in this space who have mixed feelings about social media. But in today's day and age, I will say, I think it's important for you to get on a platform and stick with it and be consistent with it. Again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in our social media and marketing strategy. But before I ever did any social media or got on there and started talking about my coaching, I also had business cards. And when I would see people out on trail or at the bike shop or in the restaurant that I worked at the time, I would hand them my business card and be like, yeah, hey, I do some guiding and I do some coaching. Like, that's a really good way to reach out and put your number and information on there so that they know that you are an expert in this field. And like, hey, I know my local trails really well here. Like, you should totally hire me. And again, another way that you can be seen as an authority and like be ready for stuff like that. I used to carry business cards in my mountain bike pack and I would give them out on trail, but also to hikers and whoever else. And also another way that you can do this is to really just start talking about yourself as a coach and a leader in this industry. You have to see yourself as a leader in this space and someone, as someone that others would come to for this service, for this coaching advice, for all of those things, right? All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so this is the 5 P's of mountain bike coaching. And I put this together as a framework to help new and experienced coaches kind of get back on track, and also just kind of like a good place to start. So the first one of these is practice. And I love this one because how many times did you practice that skill? I'll have people come to me after a lesson or a clinic, or, they've had coaching with me before and they're like, Joanna, I didn't get any better at this skill. And I'm like, all right, how many times did you practice that skill between the last time I saw you and now? And they're like, well, none. And I'm like, okay, that right there is your answer. You have to practice the skills that you want to learn. And I know that sounds pretty simple, but really it's not. And also with business and the things that we're talking about right now, you have to really put these things into practice. And we're going to talk about putting them into action and how we can get better at these skills. Because just like skills on the bike, business skills are also something that take time and practice. Okay. So if we want our clients to do these things, we also have to be doing these things. Progression. Are you giving them small steps so that they can get big wins and see big results? So again, I'm going to relate this back to business and to mountain biking, but progression in business is like, you can't expect everything to happen all at once. And that's why I love this program and breaking down things into small actionable steps. Because again, just like we do on the bike, you can't get a person who just started doing wheel lifts right to a manual. I mean, I guess depending on where their skill set is, but typically it doesn't work that way. They just don't start in a manual. They start with a small basic wheel lift. And so I want you to think of this, your business and growing your business as progression and like small steps to get bigger and bigger, right? So focus small and dream big. I say this a lot as well. Perspective and your mindset. This is so huge. I cannot stress this enough because I really feel like for myself, this was the biggest shift that happened for me. And switching this internal narrative to, let's first think about it on the bike. When clients come up to a new feature, and also I'm speaking from personal experience as well, sometimes we have a tendency to look at the feature and think, is the worst thing that's going to happen. They always think like, oh my gosh, they're going to go over the bars, or this is going to happen, or they're going to hit that rock, or they're going to fall into that cactus, whatever, or hit the tree or whatever. But we have to focus on and change our mindset to think about the best thing that could happen. What is the best possible outcome? And I get a lot of my clients to visualize seeing themselves succeeding in that space on that feature, and to really think of how it will feel when they conquer that and the feelings towards that. Like, what's the air going to be like? This kind of goes back into like visualization and like the surroundings. What are you wearing when you hit that? All of these things come into play. But first part of that is changing your mindset to thinking about all these bad things, but think about the good thing, right? So we want to get in the habit of thinking, what is the best thing that could happen in our business too? What is the best thing that could happen? The best thing that can happen is we sail through this program, get a ton of clients, be making money how we want to, right? And what we love to do, and making programs that are awesome for people to progress and succeed, right? So the next part of this, and the fourth P, is patience, enjoying the process. And if you have followed me for any time on social or know me personally, you know that I'm a huge Beyonce fan. And I draw a lot of inspiration from her, like love her. But no one really woke up like this. And I don't care who you are. Even if you're a pro mountain biker, or if you have an amazing mountain bike business that you've been building, no one just woke up like this. You took steps to get there. And there was a process from day one until, where you are now. So we have to enjoy the process and have patience, because there will be times through this program that you get frustrated. And just like on the bike, you'll have those days where you will probably second guess it and be like, why do I ride at all? Or have those really hard days when you're just like really challenged. But if you stay with this process and you stay engaged, I promise you're going to sail through this and really have something tangible at the end of it. And taking massive action is one of those things. We're definitely going to talk about that, but you're going to have a business that you're proud of. And that's really awesome. And that's what I hope for you through this process. And the last P, which is really not a P, but I put a P in front of it anyway, because this is my fifth one, is fun. Remind them and yourself why you ride. And of course, I'm talking about your clients, but I'm also talking about you through this process. And really building your business. Take time and don't get frustrated. Don't put that kind of energy into it, and have fun, right? Remember why you are doing this, and remember why you ride. And if you're like me, I ride my bike for fun. So just remember that. Okay. So 5 P's, keep those in mind, because we will come back to them several times. All right. So let's talk a little bit about creating unique solutions and how to create a unique solution for your clients. And we really need to talk about what is the problem that your client is struggling with. And when it comes to mountain bike skills, is it the basics? Are they struggling with fundamentals, coordination, balance, all of that stuff? what are the things that your ideal client is struggling with? And, you should be writing these things down and always thinking about these. Do they struggle with confidence on the bike? That's always a big one for me and clients that I work with, because, a lot of this has to comes from this like mental mindset and really the confidence that it takes to get on the bike and try new features. And a lot of this is the client overcoming self-doubt and fear on the bike. And it's relating to their life. So again, it's important to always promote the 5 Ps. We can go back to those, and we want to promote, this consistency with those 5 Ps. Okay. So create your coaching solution to their problems. And again, you could write down their problems, like, are they struggling with wheel lifts or whatever that may be, maybe technical sections of trail. And then get into like what your client is, like who they really are. Are they beginner? Are they intermediate? Are they advanced? And start to craft your solution. What is the solution to them if they are struggling with the basics? So for instance, if you've been on a group ride and you see several people there, AKA your potential clients, that are struggling on technical ascents, that means maybe you should try to craft up some kind of climbing clinic. And here's some examples of what I have offered in the past. And these are just a few, these are some of my in-person things that I've offered before, but 3 hours to better wheel lifts. And typically these are like 3-hour clinics. Pumps, bumps, and jumps. That's where we worked on more advanced wheel lifts. This would be an example of an intermediate to advanced clinic, where we, again, went in, we talked about jumps, we talked about bunny hops and stuff like that. Cornering with confidence. This was also another intermediate clinic that I still actually offer this in Sedona. And then trail spotlights. And these could be another example, like beginner, intermediate, or advanced trail spotlights, depending on what trail that is, right? So there's so many different things that you could offer. And there's no limit to this, you guys. There is no limit. So get creative with this and create your coaching solution. That's what's so amazing about this, is that you can create whatever you want, which is so awesome. So get creative. And, another thing, I think one of my friends up north, she teaches a really awesome drop clinic, which is amazing. So again, no limits, right? Create whatever you want, craft whatever you want, but also have it be fun for you, something that you really love to coach. Okay. And speaking of coaching, it's time to get really good at one thing. And so whether you're a new coach or a very advanced coach, you can get something from this. Focus small to go big. And when talking about working with clients, sometimes too much all at once is really overwhelming to them. And so, for instance, with fundamentals, I've taught a ton of different fundamentals clinics in all of my years coaching, but they're all different because all of my clients are different, right? That's the joy of coaching. Every single client is different. So that's going to expect, and you're going to have to teach something different every single time. Yeah, maybe you're teaching the same skill, like a wheel lift, but you're going to have to figure out how it can get across to that client a different way. So it's always nice to keep it simple. And instead of throwing a million different things out there at people, make sure you keep it simple and to the point. And another reason why this is so important is because, and why focusing small is so important, is because your coaching will just be more effective. Because think of the times that you've been coached or you've been to a clinic and the instructor talked a ton and didn't let you practice, and maybe implemented all these technical terms that you didn't understand. And it was just like a mouthful, right? And you just weren't getting it. You're just giving the instructor this blank stare. And you probably didn't learn as much as if when you went to a clinic with a coach that kept things really simple and got you moving on the bike and really listened to your concerns on the bike, right? So, coaching is definitely a lot more effective if you keep it simple and you keep it focused small. Okay. And that's really where you'll see the big gains and the big wins for your clients. All right. Um, Another point on this and getting really good at one thing, I want to talk about don't teach what you don't know. And so, what I mean by that is if you are a level one coach, or say you're a volunteer, or if you're a level three coach, teach what you know. Don't go into something as a level one coach and craft your framework and be like, oh, I'm going to teach a 4-hour drop clinic. And you've never been taught how to teach drops. Okay. Don't just like willy nilly this, or like, I don't know, for a better word, just like wing it. Right. Get it together and know what you're teaching and get really good at teaching that one thing. And so maybe at first that's fundamentals. Teach a bomb ass fundamentals clinic. Teach a fundamentals clinic that people get so much out of that they want to take it again because they learned so much from you, right? So don't be an amateur because your client depends on this, and their safety and progression depends on it. And if you're teaching something that is out of your wheelhouse, that is just room for disaster. Believe me, I've seen it so many times when coaches get in over their heads and they teach stuff that they're not ready for because they don't understand it and they don't understand the progressions to progress the client. So keep that in mind as you start crafting your strategy and thinking about things that you want to offer. All right, let's continue talking about success starting small. And these are my top 3 things of why it's so important to think about success starting small and to focus small but dream big, right? And so I want you to take a second, close your eyes right now. I know, do it. And think about where you want your business and where you want your coaching to be a year from now. And think of how good it will be to be making money doing something that you love. Yeah, you've had challenges, you've had things that you've had to overcome, but it feels so good to be making money off of something that you've created. All right, you can open your eyes. And with that thought in mind, we have to think about taking consistent action. Y'all, I cannot stress enough. We have to show up and do this stuff all the time. I know it's not easy, and I'm not going to tell you this is going to be easy process because it is not, and I am proof of that. But just like learning new mountain bike skills, we can also do that same thing and put it towards our resilience in our business. So take consistent action and do not give up. You have got this, okay? If I can do this, you can do this. And I mean that, okay? And 2 is, yeah, we want to dream big, but we have to focus on attainable goals. We cannot set unrealistic things for ourselves at first, okay? So we have to be realistic and, start small. That's why it's important because we want to get some wins right out of the gate. And I know that we will, starting small, okay? And the 3rd thing is promoting investing in yourself and why coaching is so important to you. And so let me just stop here for a second and say that I already know that investing in yourself is important to you because you invested in this course and because you are investing in your coaching and because you are becoming a better coach. But now I want you to promote that and tell others that, like why it is so important to you. And so you can jot that down and write that down because again, that's going to be personal to you and why you think it's important. But I just want to say really fast, like kudos to you for investing in yourself because it goes a really long way. All right. So after all that, let's talk about some simple action steps for this week. I want you to craft your first coaching offer. And I want you to think this up. Like maybe it's group coaching. Maybe that's what you want to start with in your business. Maybe you want to start with private lessons. Maybe you want to start with offering a clinic or something of value to your community, right? So I really want you to do your research this week and come up with your own offering. And you can get creative with this. I mean, think outside the box. Like literally, there is no limits. Okay. So there's some examples there. Um, and also you can look to other businesses, what they have done in the past that really works, like what sells out for them, right? And then the other action step for this week is to get out there and tell people about your coaching. So if you're not a coach yet and you're on the way to becoming a coach, or maybe you already are a coach and you've got your cert, I want you to start telling everybody that you know that you are a mountain bike coach and tell them what you do. Tell them, tell them, tell them again, again, again. So, and again, like if you're not a coach yet, or if you're still just like in that volunteer phase, or you're, getting your cert or whatever, tell them why you're taking the steps to become a coach. There is a lot of power in the beginning and just starting. So let's get to work this week. Tell me how it goes. I'm here for you. Let's do this.
All right, y'all. Well, that's it for me this week. Make sure that you like and subscribe and let me know if you get any value from this. I would love to hear from you.